And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, round 5, right?
Yep, you nailed it.
You just told me and I forgot.
No,
immediately.
you didn't even. You
All
said it right.
So everyone's been demanding it all day. It's more Bravo. The Bravo stream is returned. I'm just kidding. I said that last time. No.
There are 2 Bravos that are 4-0.
There are 2
There
Bravos.
are 2 Kanos that are 4-0.
It's the top 8's going to be weird.
Though, yeah, so there are 2 Bravos, 2 Kanos locked for top 8, right?
Yeah.
With 0 losses after 4 wins. But we have some players right now, a bunch of players that are 3-1. If they win this round, this is the thing that I understand the least about this game is how breakers and all this work. But I think that means some of these winners, if they're X-1 going into the last round, they should also be locked, right?
Let's just say yeah.
Let's find out.
Who cares?
Talk to me about who we're going to see, though, because we do have neither Bravo nor Kano. We do have a hero that I think people are going to be excited to see based on these last couple messages I'm seeing in the chat.
Everyone's favorite green guy that's not Reinar, it's Riptide, baby. Riptide Daddy, Lurker of the Deep, coming in strong. He is 3-1. And against some other dude at 5? 5.
Yeah.
I think he's a ninja. I don't know. He seems all right. Mr. Del Taco, Anthony, coming in on his favorite ninja. It's 5 versus Jarik on Riptide. I don't know how this matchup goes, but I'm very excited to find out.
I'm excited to see which of these traps end up being the most impactful in the matchup. You have to imagine Frailty. You have to imagine the Go Again. I think that's collapsing, makes you discard your hand and draw that many -1. How many points of value is Jarik going to be able to get off of the traps? And the points of damage off the traps, as well as the effects on the traps, and is Anthony just going to be able to rush him down fast enough so that those traps don't get all the value they need? Also, shout out to Jarik. We're going to get the shout out to Jarik, who is, I believe, a Las Vegas local. I was talking to Peter Budensic, and he was saying that he is part of that crowd out there. Budensic. And coming out for his first AGE Open, I'm pretty sure, and sitting at 3-1, poised to get into this top 8 on a hero that a lot of people like, but a lot of people haven't seen take down many tournaments yet.
That's true. Locally, Riptide Gamers is a thing. We do like Riptide. It is for fun, and it's also pretty good sometimes. I think it's got some bad matchups, but largely it can be pretty insane, some of the things I've seen Riptide do. I am curious which of these traps are coming in, if he's siding anything out. If he wins, we'll definitely ask him what he's doing here. But he's got about, I think, 19 traps running in here. That is a significant percentage of his entire deck is traps.
For sure.
I've got them all pulled up on my phone so I can figure out what they do as he uses them, because there's going to be a lot of text that we're reading back and forth. Hopefully Del Taco knows what it does.
Yeah, now Jarik is going to be sitting at 2 less points of life than Anthony when the game begins. And against a hero like Vi, sometimes those 2 points of life can make all the difference, as Anthony is going to be firing on all cylinders to start this game. But the question is, how many more points of life will Jarik be able to deal with those little nasty Riptide pings every time one of those traps trigger? Is it going to be significantly more than the 2 points of life he has to start with? You have to imagine the developers of the game thought so as they gave him those 2 points of life lost.
But it seems likely that is how it's balanced. He does have Sigil of Solaces in his deck as well. Potential, life total could be more around 47 if you factor that in there, but we'll see if that's a good thing to bring in this deck. I'm not sure. Running instant no blocks against Vi can be dangerous.
Dangerous proposition to say the least, but both players are getting ready. The equipment's getting thrown out there. Something I want to point out from Jarik's side, the Goliath Gauntlet. I wonder if that's going to be powering up a CNC or some other powerful arrow, but powerful attack. Goliath Gauntlet, a cool arm slot, as interestingly not electing to go for something like the Bullseye Bracers. Not even actually in his list, not even in the 80, as he's going to go ahead and start us off here. It's time to just throw out a Wounded Bull. Thank you to Riptide for having a little less life. That's already going to be coming in for 8.
What a turn 0.
Let's see how Anthony wants to block this. You have to imagine he can throw every card in his hand as long as they block. Maybe they're good cards that he doesn't like to see head to the graveyard early.
Yeah, that can be, it's always a weird thing, turn 0, of like, if I attack, am I just going to have them block and I waste a good attack? Is it valuable to do that? it's hard to evaluate. Sometimes it can feel really bad when you get a bunch of cool cards in your hand and you have to block with all of them.
Well, I'm pretty sure that was a relatively functional hand there from
Yeah.
Anthony. He would have been happy to see that for his first turn. So let's see what these other 4 cards he draws, if it's as good or better. A Spreading Flames is a fine way to start. They're going to pump up all their Draconic Chain links on this particular chain, coming in for 3 with the go again. It's been a while since I've seen Fi at these top tables. I know he took down the World Championships, but he hasn't been doing as well here in the AGE series on this home turf. It's going to start things off here with the Tar Pit Trap. While it's defending an attack with go again, hit effects don't. The next hit effect will not trigger, but thanks to Riptide, because that effect does have go again, now that trap is live. 1 point of damage coming across to Mr. Zichella. It's first blood.
There we go. Just pinging him off the bat. So bringing him back down to Riptide's level.
Yeah. A lot of, that tar pit trap. Now, the next hit effect is not going to trigger on this chain, which is huge. 1 point of damage, another point of value, and those 3 points of block. When you put it like that, it seems like a pretty good card in the right hands of this hero. Emberblade going to go ahead and be met by Remorseless for the block.
Yeah. Looking at their equipment, I just love that Riptide runs Trench. It's a fun card. And then Anthony over there running his Mask of Pouncing Links because he wants to just have that crazy turn that ruins your day.
Yeah, because you have to imagine Anthony knowing that Mask of Momentum is going to be hard to get off with a hero that loves to run all these defense reactions, going to be wanting to block to get value off of the hero power there. So if you're going to be doing so, you have to imagine Mask of Momentum going to be hard to make trigger. The Mask of the Pouncing Links representing, again, like that big spike turn. This is going to be a Phoenix Flame grabbed off Phi Rising Rebellion's hero ability, thanks to the Spreading Flames, thanks to the Tiger Stripe Shugo. Going to get 2 little buffs, making that little attack that could be for 0, all coming in for a big old 3. 1 card left in hand here. Is it a big old Lava Burst or another Chain Ender? Looks as though Jarik's going to go ahead and maybe take another 3 after the brand with Cinderclaw.
It's always a Lava Burst.
It's always the Lava Burst. Anthony, they're going to go ahead and pass on the reactions. Jarik heading down to 32. What is that last card in hand? Looks like it might just be headed to the arsenal. He's giving it that old feather. No, it's going to just be a Blaze Headlong. We're going to bring it in for 5 rather than keep it in the arsenal thanks to the Spreading Flame buff, because that's going to be the 5th chain link. Going to go ahead and get the bonus there. Wants to get the value, and now you're once again threatening that Pouncing Link. You never know how scary a turn can really be. Jarik's saying no blocks. Making Anthony going to have to go back in the tank and see if he wants to really throw down with the Pouncing Links.
Yeah, it can be something that you burn too early, and it just takes away that impact that you can have later in the game. But, it's also not bad just to deal a bunch of damage. When he didn't block that Phoenix Flame, it's kind of the go-ahead of like, well, maybe I should just keep going because he doesn't want to block. It can really change your mind on how you're about to play, because it seemed like you might have arsenaled that card. But coming in with that, Blaze Headlong, and Jarik going down to 27. Whew.
27 and no activation of the Mask of the Pouncing Links. Anthony wanting to keep it maybe for something like an Art of War turn plus a Spreading Flame, something even bigger than what it could have represented, even with that Spreading Flames buff on something like a Lava Burst or Assault the Wound here. 2 cards left in hand for Jarik. He wanted to keep them. We're pitching a red for a red. This is going to be a Findall's Fighting Spirit headed to the pitch zone for a big death touch here. That's 6 points of damage, but one of 3 different bad diseases that, Anthony's not trying to catch. He's being very responsible. He's got his little, bandana type thing on. He's not looking to get any disease, especially not one of these from the death touch.
He came ready to cosplay as a ninja for sure. Because he is our local ninja guy. He loves Phi. Doesn't like Katsu though. He's just a Phi guy.
It looks like this is going to be a death touch representing the Blood Rot Pox. So Jarik's saying, I'm ready to throw down, life for a life, scar for a scar, pound for a pound here. Going to go ahead and put that Blood Rot token there, deal an additional 2 damage at the end of Anthony's turn.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
For sure. Look at this. This has to be a Blaze Headlong here without, at least at the moment, any ability to get go again. Let's see if he's able to play a red card or throw the Snapdragon Scalers, and it is going to be the Razor Reflex. So now the red card's going to help it get go again, but also the Razor Reflex effect, if it hits, going to get go again as well. Springboard Somersault here. I've seen that card before.
That's a good card. You play that from Arsenal? It can be a good card.
Tree Frog Riptide, question mark. Going to go ahead and get some points of damage blocked, as that 7's going to bring Jarik down to 24. Time for the Searing Ember Blade with the final 2 floating from that. Battering Bolt, going to head to the blocks. Anthony now going to go ahead and arsenal up. Jarik down to 24 on the turn. Only 10 minutes elapsed in this game. Jarik all the way down to 24. Anthony sitting 7 life above him at the 31. Let's see how much pressure Jarik is able to put on with just those 3 cards left in his hand.
Yeah, hasn't seen a lot of his traps yet either. That can be one of the rough things. He also had to pitch his fighting spirits, so not getting the health gain off of those either, and probably won't see them again because this game doesn't seem like it's going to go to the second cycle. But Riptide does move through his deck a little bit faster with the trench, but when you don't have cards in your arsenal and in hand, it's hard to cycle through your deck.
Tough here for Jarik, having to pitch another red Findall's Fighting Spirit into the Death Dealer, loading up an Endless Arrow, drawing a card, but, you saw him give him a little shake of the head there, maybe not liking exactly what he saw, as he has to just throw down this Endless Arrow. Right now, again, no way to give it go again. Perhaps we're going to see a Razor Reflex from Jarik himself. It looks like he's going to go ahead and block this out, is Anthony, with the Cinderskin Devotion and the Flamescale Furnace for the block. Jarik there going to go ahead and just arsenal and pass, so not able to do much with those 3 cards in his hand at all.
Yeah, even ninjas block Endless Arrow. That's how bad that card is.
E-Strike here, most likely going to have the go again, unless Anthony wants to draw a card and give it the go again with the Snapdragon Scalers, but it looks as though it's just going to be the 5 with the go again.
Boom.
Fair amount of damage as Jarik has fallen all the way to 24, not been able to do much disruption. We're going to go ahead, I think this is a Pendulum Trap.
Tripwire.
Tripwire Trap.
And with defense, effects don't trigger when an attack hits this chain link unless the attacking hero pays a resource.
So it looks like time to decide if Anthony is going to go ahead and pay. Perhaps when he took the damage off the Riptide, 1 damage coming across after the Tripwire Trap.
Yeah, because these are the Crucible ones, right, that just trigger Riptide no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that
Well, if they're, yeah, because it's just defending and it has its effect that does trigger.
Yeah.
So that's going to trigger Riptide here. This is just a commanded card from Arsenal. So no defense reactions can be played with the Chain Link, but luckily for Jarik, he already got that Tripwire Trap out of there, so doesn't have to worry about that being threatened by this Command and Conquer. Now it's just damage. How much does Jarik want to commit to the blocks? Looks like it's going to be just a Wounded Bull. These cards, Wounded Bull, these cards find all Fighting Spirit, not really being used for what they're not really being used for what they're supposed to. Wow, blue Wounded Bull, that's not something you see every day. Not like it blocks for quite a bit, but perhaps Jarik want to use it for certain other reasons. Is this going to be coming in for the 7 here to keep an Arsenal zone? The answer is yes, just 7 damage. Anthony being threatened to go down to 23, which would significantly close that gap as Jarik is all the way down to 19. And it looks like Anthony's saying, yes, send me the bill.
Doesn't care.
Let's see if that is a defense reaction that Jarik is able to keep in the arsenal there. Anthony realizing he hasn't been put under too much pressure on, disruptive effects. So he's just trying to keep the foot off the gas here. And I see why. And let's see why. This is an Art of War, folks. Time to go ahead and banish, draw 2, buff up the attacks. How big do you think this turn's about to get?
At least 5 chain links.
at least 5.
At least 5 chain links. He could probably. Oh god, he's got his mask still and his Snapdragons. This could be bad.
This could be bad. Now in silver linings for Jarik here, no arsenal with this Art of War. Art of War off a 4-card hand is significantly less scary than Art of War off a 5-card hand or Art of War off of something like a Tunic. So this is definitely still going to be a big turn, but with only a couple cards left in hand for Anthony.
Yeah.
You have to see. And a Frailty Trap here, going to go ahead and power down that Ember Blade as well as deal that point of damage and give the Frailty. The Arsenal Disruption not going to be relevant, but that Ember Blade, if it comes in on the turn, now coming in for 2 instead of 3.
Is that a blue devotion? Or brand with Cinderclaw?
On the where?
The first one he just played, is that blue? Or is that
it was a yellow, because 2+1, yeah. So now this is coming in 2, thanks to the Frailty token. Hey, the Wounded Bullhog once again blocks for 2, but now blocks it out.
Oof. It looks like Del Taco did not draw the best cards for his Art of War turn. Still pretty good, but when he covers up on the 4, okay, Riptide gaming right here. Just going to cover up your big turn, and then is he doing a... oh, he's Phoenix Flame. Okay. Is this a mask? Is he going to break the mask of Pouncing Link? It's always exciting when they do that. Just coming in for another 2 here. He's still got 1 card left in hand. It could be something nasty, but we'll have to see.
Shuko already triggering on that second brand with Cinderclaw. So now here we go. This is the moment. The Purge Grapplers were almost put in front of the Phoenix Flame. Now, upon hit, Anthony has to decide, does he want to break the Pouncing Links here? Jarik could have prevented this by putting the Perch Grapplers in front of the Phoenix Flame, not allowing it to hit, and not giving Anthony the opportunity to break the mask of the Pouncing Lynx, and it looks as though he is going to go ahead and trigger it here. So this will be a huge point to look at in this game. Jarik almost didn't let this attack hit and made Anthony not either have to use that final card in his hand or would have not left him able to get a huge lava burst now that's going to be bumped up by the Art of War as well. This could be a big swing point in this game. You seeing 5 links?
This will be 5 links.
You seeing 5 links right there? I look over just like 1, 2, 3.
I might have been right about something.
Lava burst
for 6. I wonder if he was just worried he just had it in hand and just wanted him to have it. Oh, but there he goes. Oh, he did have it in hand.
Wow, another lava burst here. This is going to be a Tarpa Trap. When he played it, the attack didn't have go again, but the Snapdragon, in response to the Tarpa Trap, I mean, technically, I'm sure they must let the Tarpa Trap resolve. Then you play the Snapdragon Scalers, but a second Tarpa Trap for 6. That is a huge turn here.
This is why you don't shortcut things sometimes. You block, you go to reaction steps, and then you let them break their Snapdragons.
So how much damage would that Perch Grappler block have prevented? It would have prevented the 2 damage from the Phoenix Flame and then the additional 6 damage off the Lava Burst. So that Perch Grapplers could have blocked for 8 this turn. Instead, Jarik falling all the way down to 11. Anthony sitting at a comfortable 22, double the life total. Time for a little Draconic Head Jab. This is going to be a Ronin Renegade. It's coming in for 3. Let's see if Jarik's going to be able to stay alive here. Widowmaker being committed to the block.
Ooh.
Double strike, not what you want to see here if you're Jarik. This is letting you go even wider off a 4-guard hand, going to trigger the Shuko.
Yeah, that was a really pivotal turn for Del Taco there. He still has a crown too. I don't understand why Jarik didn't try to block that. It seemed like it's hard. It's hard though. It's just for 2. You're like, are they going to go off right now? But I think when they have mask up, you always got to assume that they're going to do it as soon as they have a shot. Like, why not?
Yep.
Why wouldn't he? He had both his combo pieces in his equipment to do something nasty, and he went for it.
Buzzsaw Trap here, turning that double strike from a 2 attack to a 1 attack. This is now going to be a snatch coming in 4-4. Might be talking to the judge here about something.
No go again currently, so this will be the last one, but if... Yeah, it's going to be rough. Jarik does not have a lot of cards to come back and take any tempo away from Del Taco here. I don't know why there are promo cards out there, but I'll take it. Oh, he used
That's the double strike link.
Yeah, nice.
Double strike
nice.
Link. Yeah, a little.
Back of the Frozen token is still useful, everybody. Frozen might be out, but invisible cards are in.
Let's see. They're talking about Buzzsaw Trap. I want to see 2. When this defense attack with a power greater than its base, the attack can't gain power this turn. So that's what they're talking about on the double strike from the Tiger Stripe Shuko. Maybe because Tiger Stripe Shuko says damage can't be prevented, but I don't think that's preventing damage. It's just saying it can't gain power, but it wouldn't matter anyway. It must not be what they're talking about. They're talking about the snatch or something along that nature, which is coming in for 4. I can't read lips, especially from this far away.
When they're wearing masks.
Yeah, from this far away.
I think it seems like Buzzsaw Trap with the double strike and Tiger Shuko seems a reasonable thing to question. But yeah, 4 coming in, gonna block it. Now the Perch Grappler is coming out. Yeah, it's
tough here for Jarik. You have to imagine that you're looking back at that last turn and thinking about what those Perch Grapplers could have grabbed you. Even though on this turn, the snatch representing the on-hit of drawing a card, Anthony already had a card in his hand and most likely no way to get the go again, so that card draw was not probably going to be as relevant. It's time for a Mounting Anger. This is a big on-hit effect in the Phi deck where it doesn't have much beyond something like Command and Conquers. This is a Draconic Chainlink. It is a breakpoint, and it's going to threaten another damage from a 0-cost card on this turn. You know he's got plenty of those. Springboard Somersault here going to come in and try to shore that up. But the Art of War going to go ahead and try to push it over the top from Arsenal. Anthony really just putting all the pressure on Jarik here. He's not been able to do much disruption this game at all. So Anthony really able to do whatever he kind of wants on this turn. Let's see if there's another reaction to try to stop this Mounting Anger.
Yeah, if you can't stop Phi, he's just gonna run you down, man. He's got the gas. You're hoping if you can't disrupt him that he's just gonna pull the potato hand that he can't do much with, or all blues that really aren't impactful. But even at this health, like Jarik doesn't have a lot of room to play around and take damage to try to come back. And Riptide's not really a swing back big kind of hero, you know. It's not what he's really doing. I mean, he's got those value cards with Wounded Bull and stuff, but hasn't been lining up for him right now.
Yeah, the Trench of Sunken Treasure and the Sink Below going to go ahead and take care of this big old Ronin Renegade being pumped up by the Art of War and that mounting anger on hit effect pump which it itself was pumped up by the Art of War. Let's see, time to throw the Searing Emberblade. Only one card left in hand. Small victories here for Jarik, so there's only one card after this that you have to worry about. This is an Emberblade coming in for 3. 130 your life total at this point. Crown of Providence looks like time to filter a card away for Jarik. 1 point of damage going to come across here.
Chat saying maybe wanted to load that springboard with Riptide trigger, which could have been what they're asking the judge about. That seems plausible. It's a tricky one. I don't know how long Jarik's been playing Riptide, but when I played it a couple times, that was a thing I kept forgetting every single time. It's like, oh yeah, I can just load a card in my arsenal every time I play a card.
So the Findall's Fighting Spirit here, plus the Frailty Trap. It looks like you can go ahead and gain a life and then deal a damage with the Frailty Trap to Mr. Zichella, bringing him down to 20.
Chipping away, Frailty not going to do much. That's the tricky thing with Frailty Trap is that they get it right away and then they lose it this turn. So if it doesn't come out early enough, it's probably not going to be impactful.
Phoenix Flame here now being pumped up by the Art of War. 2 damage coming across. This will be the end of the turn. 2 floating, but not much else. The Barraging Brawnhide there. Just a constructed all-star.
Yeah.
Going ahead and shoring up the rest of that block.
Wow. Michael Hamilton really did change his game, didn't he? Just put all these cards in these decks because the value's right.
Anthony, draw 4. Jarik, draw 4. The turn continues. Anthony sitting down at 20 life to Jarik's 8. Trying desperately to stabilize in the face of this aggression from the 5-player here. We've seen a couple Art of Wars be used off 4-card hands. This is just going to be a Flame Call Awakening, no effect trigger because this is the first red card played on the turn, so 3 with the go again. Is that the Collapsing Trap? This is a big one.
Nice.
This is going to say discard your hand and then draw that many -1, so only 1 card left after this for DT here. Phoenix Flame, again, I mean, if you're going to have to discard cards, Phoenix Flame's probably not the worst to do.
Not bad.
Yeah, another damage coming across from Riptide here. 2 floating means we still get to swing that Emberblade. That's got to feel good.
Collapsing Trap. Great card. That one feels so impactful sometimes. I love it when they draw no cards back up.
Blue Widowmaker there going to commit to the block, and then now just 4 damage here. No floating, so this once again will be the end of the turn. How many cards does Jarik want to keep? 1 damage coming across, Battering Bolt being committed to the block here. So lucky for Anthony that he got to draw that 0 cost and keep the pressure up. Didn't have to arsenal something that had more than 0 resource required off of the draw from the Collapsing Trap.
I'm curious if he just got more value out of the 1 card he drew versus the 2 cards he had to discard.
Yeah, literally with the Phoenix Flame. I don't know what that other card was, but the Phoenix Flame, I wasn't doing much. This is going to be an Endless Arrow here off the Codex of Frailty. And let's see what Anthony wants to pick. Frailty token, absolutely going to be big on that turn because of the card this next turn, because of the card being put in the arsenal and the Searing Emberblade. Endless Arrow going to represent some damage here. A good little, 5th of DT's life. But that Ponder token, perhaps we're going to be able to find a defense reaction, some kind of defensive piece that can set up in the arsenal. Endless Arrow can be remain as a 3 block in the hand.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good, 1-card hand for Jarik here. It makes Del Taco's turn a little bit worse, but when he grabs CNC, that does kind of suck. That is always the negative side of the Codex, is that they also can just grab a card, even though it's going to come in for 5. It's still a CNC, even at 5, which means he's still got to probably block it with 2 cards.
Yeah, and for Jarik here, CNC will be threatening the arsenal, but more than that, it'll say, listen, no defense reactions on this chain link, so you got to give me some cards beyond those, buddy. And let's see what Anthony wants to play out. Looks like it's going to be Rise from the Ashes first. Going to go ahead and be able to grab the Phoenix Flame here and give whatever his next Draconic or Ninja attack +3. Then a Mounting Anger on top of it. This is proving to be a big old turn from DT here. This is going to be a Mounting Anger for 7, threatening to go ahead and banish the Phoenix Flame he just grabbed off the Rise from the Ash. He's got 2 floating for him. Command and Conquer after this. This is a disgusting turn off the back of the Codex of Frailty.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. Worst case scenario for Jarik here. Did he block the Endless Arrow or he took 4?
I
wonder if the
he
life
represented taking 4, so yeah, Anthony should probably be at closer
he's
to
at
15 here,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Just double checking I didn't miss something. But that may not matter because this is going to be a big old turn here. Hopefully he remembers that there's a CNC in there and doesn't keep a defense reaction in hand because that's something I would do for sure. Phoenix Flame coming in and just to mess with you here for 1, making life a little bit.
Yeah, 1 point of damage that
weaker.
absolutely matters, and the CNC following up for 5, just huge on the turn. Does Jarik want to try to keep any cards in hand, or does he want to try to save the life and lose the arsenal here? Having to commit the cards to the Mounting Anger means the CNC is going to go somewhat uncontested. However, the Sigil of Solace, gain 3 life, take 3, and lose the Wounded Bull. I think it's another blue one. Blue Wounded.
That's definitely a card. It's a card that's legal to play in CC. Don't know why. I guess because you start lower in health. I don't know. The smarter person than me probably thought of it, so I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt.
Anthony, go ahead and draw back up here. Half the time has been elapsed on this game. Jarik sitting at 5, trying to stay alive. Rising Resentment here from Anthony, who's sitting at 15. Both players on 3 and 1. A block immediately thrown down with that Remorseless. Time for the Searing Emberblade to go ahead and join the party. This is 3 more points of damage. Jarik's got to do a whole lot of blocking if he wants to stay alive, and hope Anthony finds a hand that is somewhat less than functional. Both players here, I think, are close to winning in scenarios for the top 8 of the tournament. That's another trap. Oh, no, that's Intoxicating Shot. That's the new Riptide spec that we just got. Time to use the 1 floating for the Phoenix Flame. Coming in for 1. So hard to stop leaking damage if you are playing against a 5, thanks to that hero ability. 1 card left in hand. Another Rising Resentment here. This is 3 damage. Jarik saying no blocks, no reactions. Going down 2-2. What's the final card here for Anthony? What's the final trick up the sleeve for 5? Just going to be that Soul Bead Strike, and we can't pay for the trap, it looks like. The Pitfall Trap unable to be paid for, so those final 4 points of damage gonna do it as DT moves on to 4 and 1. Jarik falling under the onslaught from the Rising Rebellion, and that's gonna do it for the round, folks. Your winner, Anthony DT Zichella on 5 Rising Rebellion.
Pitfall Trap doesn't cost anything.
Oh, well, it can only be played from Arsenal. I don't think.
Oh, it's from Arsenal.
Yeah.
He didn't play at the other defense? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It doesn't cost 1, but it can only be played from Arsenal. So that's not going to do it here, folks.
Bummer. All right. Well,
bummer. Why you bummer? You're rooting against your homie.
I love Riptide.
You just want to see Riptide do it.
I don't like 5.
You're supposed to be unbiased.
I'm not. I'm not a judge. I'm just here having fun watching these games.
For sure.
I lose against Del Taco regularly.
Yeah.
I know the pain the Jarik's going through right now. That's too bad. I haven't seen that matchup. I haven't played enough Riptide to really know what is a good or bad matchup. It seems like it's probably a difficult one unless your traps really line up really well, which doesn't always work. So fair play to TT on
And it does look like this Riptide is definitely slanted more defensively with the cards like the Brown Hides and the Wounded Bulls. We're not just seeing that kind of red line list that's a little more, want to race and just throw damage and throw some of those more disruptive effects. Anthony there was really able to just kind of have his way, throw all the damage, and unless you're able to establish some disruption early or some really important defensive pieces early, you might just get run over like we just saw in that game. But fair play to Jarik. Thanks again for, we're so glad to have some of these players traveling from Arizona, traveling from Las Vegas all the way.
I heard it's a soft region out here, so I think they came to just mop it up, but There's some good players sometimes, you know. Come out here on any given day. We got some flesh and blood players, but
We got some Worlds finalists. We got a bunch of Pro Tour champions. Then we got DT, he's just here to have a good time. So we're gonna
play Fi and either have a great time or the worst time, depending on how well he does.
Yep, absolutely.
Well,
Well, let's. You want to hear from the man?
Yeah,
Let's hear from them. We'll
Del
get him
Taco
in here.
man.
We'll hear from Del Taco because we've only got one more round coming up, folks. But we got a bunch of time left on that round timer. So let's hear from the man who just took down that game before we head on into the final round before the top 8. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Be right back. And we are back with the man of the taco himself.
Hi.
All right, let's do it.
I did it.
Del Taco,
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
Del Taco's obviously better than
Dude,
Taco Bell.
Crunchwrap Supremes.
Bro, have you been to the Del Taco in Barstow, though? Because that's the only one that matters.
Is that like the first
It's
one?
the original one, and then Del Taco got bought by Jack in the Box, except for that one. So everything's twice as big for the same price.
So your whole brand is an homage to the single Del Taco
In
of Barstow. All right. Well, everyone, when you come to Pro Tour LA, make sure to put Barstow on your list of places you should visit. So also rent a car.
Don't do that. Don't do that, please.
Next time you're out there, check it out. I did not know that. That's a
Fun fact for you, sir.
Well.
Yep.
Isn't Taco Bell also a Southern California?
Okay, you want to hear the history of Taco Bell? Bro, okay, so there's this place called Mitla Cafe. It's in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
And Glenn Bell
Mm-hmm.
worked at a burger shop.
Okay.
And he sold hot dogs then. And then after that, he got a job at Mitla Cafe. And they were like the first hard shell taco spot in California.
Okay. Gringo Tacos.
And he worked there and he stole the recipe and then opened the first Taco Bell across the street. Isn't that messed up?
Yeah.
It's still there though, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Mitla, not Taco Bell.
That's a McDonald's move for
That's
sure.
a super McDonald's move.
All right. Well, I hope you found that interesting. It was great to talk to you.
Have a good night. Thanks so much. Thanks so much,
All right.
guys.
So, Riptide, were you at all nervous?
Yeah, man. Riptide's a terrifying matchup for Fi.
Is it the Redliner one that's
The
worse?
Redliner one is very scary.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know what Jarik was running. I was kind of hoping to be Redliner, but it was definitely more on the fatigue side. So.
Yeah, typically Fi does pretty well into fatigue game plans.
Mhm.
So like I wasn't too terrified once I learned what Riptide he was on.
Yeah.
But like still he can do some gross stuff and they can just trap you down. And my friend Jesse was like one of the original like proponents of Riptide.
Mm-hmm.
And I played him in Baltimore in the calling and he beat the crap out of me. And so now I'm just like traumatized.
Not Jesse Harper, is it?
Yeah, just
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Riptide Jesus. Let's go.
Riptide Jesus. Shout out to Jesse Harper, Riptide Jesus.
That's my boy. Yeah, I mean, I think that. Okay, so did you know before you sat down that he was on fatigue, or did you have to figure out in mid game?
So I didn't recognize the name because he's from Vegas,
Uh huh.
and I had seen him play Bill round one. He played somebody. No, he played Allen.
Oh, okay.
And I saw the tail end of that match, and once I saw that it was the same face, I was like, okay, he's on fatigue.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always hard when you're trying to like figure out mid game. You're like, what are they trying to do here? Because especially when he flipped over the Goliath gauntlets, I was just like, oh,
Yeah, I was super confused by that
Just
too.
like that's an interesting choice right there. But then it was just kind of like, I'm gonna play these traps, which they didn't seem to line up for him, so it just kind of didn't get there in the disruption side.
Also, turn 0 when he dropped Wounded Bull, I was like, oh man, what am I in for right now? I don't know what's gonna happen. Not that it's bad. It's super like it's efficient.
We all know it's efficient. It kind of makes sense, but he also had blue Wounded Bulls, and it was just like, okay.
Yeah. Well, he told me he's never played against Fi with this deck list, so I
yeah.
think it might be a work in progress.
Yeah, for sure.
So if I see him next time, he'll probably beat the crap out of me.
I mean, Fi hasn't been super popular lately, it feels like, despite winning Worlds.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about his current position in meta?
So I was talking to my friend John about this. Shout out to Mr. John Cooper, Lupine Fiasco. And basically, our consensus as a Fi community is that Fi was interesting because nobody remembered how to block against Mask Momentum. So you had Kodachis and kind of like lots of chip damage and super wide turns. And then when Fi won Worlds, a bunch of people built Fi that don't play Fi, and then every armory had like half the room being Fi because it's like $12 to build.
Yeah.
And then everybody learned how to block against Kodachis. So most of us switched back to Emberblade and Lynx game
Okay.
plan. So I think that Fi has the advantage of like always doing 12 damage and like sometimes doing 35. So I just think it's probably a most consistent deck in the room, maybe. I don't think it's in a great place necessarily. I just think it's it can get there, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always had that ability to just be pretty consistent, and it's just aggressive all the way. It was really that one turn where Jarik was thinking about perch grapple block on your Phoenix Flame for 2, didn't do it, and then you double lava bursted him was pretty punishing.
Yeah, it's pretty punishing.
But yeah, I was like, I feel like when Mask the Pouncing Lynx is there, you're kind of just like, you either just accept that you're gonna get screwed on one turn, or you just gotta overblock or prevent that hit effect every single time.
It's interesting. Like, it's kind of the same issue that we have when you're playing against Katsu and they have the arms up, and you're like, well, I'm gonna block 4, but they're gonna go over by 1. So at this point, I kind of just let them do it early.
Yeah,
because I don't want to spend the rest of the game being terrified. Like Lynx is probably gonna go off at some point.
Yeah,
and in that game, I thought about using Lynx on my first turn because I had a pretty wide turn.
Yeah, we saw that. It looked like you were thinking about it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but it got to a point where he was like getting some chip damage in, and I really didn't want him to have a hand.
Yeah,
and so I didn't really need to, I guess, Lynx at that point, but I figured I could strip his hand and kind of gain tempo and just push him from there.
Yeah, totally. No, it seemed like he saved it for a great moment. I kind of felt like he thought maybe you just had it and weren't going to do, mass trigger on that, but then you did have it, and then you also got it again, and so it was just, I mean, that, especially when they have Mask and Snapdragon up, you just got to be a little bit terrified at all times.
Yeah.
So that's 5 for you.
Yeah.
How are you going? Are you going to the Pro Tour?
I didn't qualify.
Didn't qualify.
I'll be there.
Be there for calling.
I'll be there for the calling.
Okay, bringing 5, of course.
Probably.
Probably. All
Bring me
right.
tacos, Del Taco, Taco Bell, doesn't matter. Say hi. Yeah, I had a baby, so shout out to my wife and my baby at home.
What is your baby's name? Fi?
Her name is Fi. Yeah. She's beautiful. Her name's Astoria.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
So I had a baby, so I couldn't go to any qualifiers.
For sure.
She was like 2 weeks old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that. But congratulations. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
man. Appreciate it.
To you and your family. Cool. Well, anything in heavy hitters that interests you at all?
You know what? I've been so busy being a new dad that I haven't really paid much attention. I don't really love the classes that are coming out in heavy hitters. I think if anything, maybe Brute gets pretty exciting. I think Bravo's going to do Bravo stuff.
Yeah.
I hate Warrior. So
We hate Warrior. Sorry, Warrior fans.
gang.
Just don't like it.
Yep.
Would rather not.
It's not that.
I feel that deeply. I totally understand. Brute does seem exciting. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of think Bravo might hit LL this year.
I think so too, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's in a good place.
Yeah, I feel like anytime we're unsure, I said this earlier, but anytime the meta is kind of unsure, it feels like Bravo just is like, it's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's just default good deck.
I feel like Bravo and Dash both do that. Whenever
Yeah.
there's a new meta, they're like zoom, or like just best value.
Yeah, I think it's literally what Blake said too. So
Yeah.
having the same conversation, but now it's been validated. So we
You're
got
right,
that going
Blake.
for us.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on your win. I think, I don't know if you're locked in yet, but you're getting closer. You might be there top
I
8.
think I have to win one more.
Not too bad for the first open event of the year.
Yeah.
What'd you do last year?
I missed it by 1 point.
That's what we're saying. It's close.
1
Top
point.
16 is close at the end of the year. So all the points matter. You got to play all the way.
And you get points for just participating.
Yeah.
And I missed 1 because they were like, you want to go to the Renaissance Fair instead. And I was like, I don't like the Renaissance Fair. And the family was like, we're going to the Renaissance Fair. So thanks, guys. You're the best.
It's just what we do for the people we love.
It's true.
It's fine.
It's true.
It's fine.
It is not fine. It's a little bit fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good luck on the rest of your
Thank you
games
so much,
today.
man.
Hopefully
Appreciate it.
see you in the top 8.
Yeah.
And thanks for being on the stream.
Thanks for inviting me.
Hell yeah.
Bye, everyone.